Hi freshmen, this is the video I'm making for you for week 5 to kind of make sure that you know exactly what to do. We're actually not having a discussion post this week. We'll pick those back up next week. This has all been on the reading schedule if you've been trying to follow that as we go, so I'll go over that with you. So here is your assignment for week 5. So you're going to take a quiz on last week's reading. That should be nothing new. Okay, that's how I've been doing it. You'll get a new set of reading pages for this week, but you're going to take last week's reading pages this week. And so that's Curious Incident Quiz 4, pages 34 through 47, which you should have read last week. Okay, so you'll take that quiz. Remember, you can take it 3 times. I'll take the highest score. And I honestly don't care if in another tab you have the book open, so you can kind of be refreshed. It's not a cold quiz. It's an open book quiz. Okay, I just want to see that you're understanding some of the main concepts in the book as you go through it. Okay, I would also check the reading schedule for this week just to know where I'm going. And so I'll click on reading schedule. And go down. Okay, and so this week is the week of 4/27 through the 1st of May. And so you're going to be reading in the next 10 pages in the PDF, so pages 47 through 57 or through the end of chapter 173. Due at the end of the week is quiz 4, like I went over with you, 34 through 47. And then you're going to do just a quick poetry exercise or analysis on a poem written by a man who has autism called Seamus's Kite. So in order to do that, you'll go back to the remote learning folder for week 5. And you'll click on this assignment. This assignment is attached in Google Docs, like a short constructed response would be. So you've seen this a million times. Remember, you're always going to click My Document. Mine looks a little different, but you'll click on My Document. Once you open it, there's 2 parts to this, okay? Here's the poem, okay? And I want you to highlight or underline or tell me some way of identifying what it says in part 1, which is to identify 4 examples of figurative language. So find an example of personification when the author Longstaff is giving human qualities to non-human things. Metaphors, so comparing 2 things without, like, or as. Imagery, which is highly descriptive language that you can see, hear, touch, taste, or feel. And then symbols. Symbols are concrete objects that we can touch that represent ideas. We talked about this right before we left about how a flag can be a symbol of patriotism. We can't touch patriotism, but we can touch a flag instead. Okay, so you're going to find basically one of each, or you can do a mix. You can do 2 imageries, 2 metaphors, 1 of each, however you want to do it. Okay, so to practice that skill. Then when you get down to the second page, don't get overwhelmed by this. Okay, your assignment is to choose 2 quotes from this column right here and analyze them. If you read ahead a little bit above, let's just say I assigned you to write a paragraph on the following question. How does the author of the poem, Richard Longstaff, use figurative language, which you highlighted for me, to illustrate what it's like to have autism? Okay, so what I have done is I've picked out some quotes. You're only going to pick 2, any 2 that you want. And you're going to analyze them or discuss how that quote would answer this question. Okay, I even gave you an example. Here's my example for you. Steam engine, motorways, service station car, parks, railway sightings, landing on runway 9. Here's how this quote answers this question. These are symbols of transportation. This shows autism because sometimes it's hard to have autism. Okay, this is just a summary of this. I like how the author put in that it's a symbol, but it doesn't really actually show me what it's like to have autism. So I did a better example below it. Same quote. These are symbols of transportation. Since the minds of many people who have autism are constantly racing, these symbols match what it might be like to have thoughts that don't turn off. Also, people with autism are aware of their surroundings and details, so to make a list of different kinds of ways to commute shows that autistic people excel at cataloging their environments. Okay, so I've got multiple sentences here. I'm attaching why this symbol illustrates what it's like to have autism. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pick 2 different quotes. Okay, maybe you pick the next 2. Maybe you pick these next 2, the shorter ones. Also, if you struggled with the first part, just know that the quotes that I selected are examples of figurative language. So if you had trouble with the first part, go back and highlight that quote in the poem and try to tell me which piece of figurative language it is. Is that a metaphor? Is that imagery? Is it a symbol of something? Whatever it is, okay? And then you're going to talk about them, not just summarize, but how do they answer the question of what it's like to have autism, okay? How does it author use figurative language to illustrate what it's like to have autism, okay? This is a more challenging part and something we haven't practiced in a little while, but definitely a skill you'll need for 10th grade, okay? All right, so email me with questions. You're going to read and take the quiz, and then complete these 2 assignments for the poem. Enjoy. I'll talk to you soon.